Now it will. Right, so now we're going to deal with buying and selling rates because banks are financial institutions and they need to make a profit. So if you have a look at the bank buying rate over here, the bank buying rate, so if we were looking at the British pound, you would see the bank will buy 12 Rand, 4550. If the bank sells, it is going to be 12,965. So if you are confused, you will have a look at this and you will see that 12,95 is more expensive. So this, the bank is selling to you. Okay? So the bank is selling to you because they are going to sell it for more than they buy it back from you. Okay, the other thing to have a look at, sometimes you have to go and logic it out. Okay, if I look at this, the British pound in notes is 12,3325. So I know that the rand is weak, so therefore it is going to be 1 pound to 12 Rand, 3325. Okay, so in this section, that is going to be 1 unit of foreign currency to the rand value. In this bottom part, you can see it's very different. Here, it is going to be 1 rand to the amount of foreign currency that you can get. Okay, this is just a summary of that. The tourist exchanges rands for foreign currency. He buys currency. Okay, so the bank is selling it. When you come back, you give the currency back to the bank, so the bank is buying from you. Right, let's have a look here. There are various ways of doing it, but I think even now this is outdated because basically when we travel, we are going to use, I know I like to use notes, and I only go and get some notes because I don't want to be stranded in an airport and I can't get a cup of coffee. Okay, so that's why I go and get notes. What you can do is you can get a traveler's card where they load money onto your card and it will be various currencies. So wherever you are, you can use that. Bidvest also have that. Before we used to get traveler's checks. Okay, but not anymore. Telegraphic transfer, I'm sure, is just like an EFT. Okay, so the British pound, and if you have a look here, okay, the bank is, which one is, the bank will sell to you, oopsie, the bank will sell to you for 13 Rand, 0615, and you realize how long ago this was, because the exchange rate is closer to 16 Rand at the moment. Okay, so 16 Rand to 1 US dollar. It's even more to the pound. Right, let me just clear all the ink. Right, so now when you go, for example, we were dealing with Mozambique meticals, and we saw from our previous examples that you get 3,6 meticals for 1 Rand. Okay, so to help you sort it out in your head, 1 Rand to Mozambican meticals was 3,50, etc. Okay, so now you're going to Mozambique and you are buying the traveler returns. Okay, so if we bring back 3,220 meticals, how many rands do we have? So again, we are going to use ratio. 3,6589 meticals to 1 rand equals, you set up your equation and turn it into a fraction, And over here, when we work it out, I hope by now that you know how to use ratio. Okay, we cross multiplied here like that. So you got 3,6589x equals 3320. Divide by the coefficient of x, so those cancel out. And then you land up with 880 Rand and 5 cents. Now remember what I said to you. They are not going to give you the 5 cents. Okay, but that's as far as we got last year. Now what happens is there are fees. Okay, so a fee or commission is charged by the bank or business on every currency exchange. It is usually a percentage of the exchange amount and can be deducted before or afterwards, after the transaction has taken place. So let's have a look at this. Okay, these are the foreign exchange fees. And remember, buying, the bank is buying from you, or the bank is selling to you. It's what the bank does. Okay, buying and selling is what the bank does. And we had 880 Rand, 05, but we exchanged meticas, and we had, okay, the bank is selling to you. Let me just check that. Returns from a trip to Mozambique. So is the bank buying or selling? You've come back from Mozambique, so the bank is buying back your money. So we are buying foreign currency. They're buying back foreign currency. So what we have to do is we've got to have a look at this. Right, we are working in notes. So when I bring my meticals back, I'm going to get that amount of notes. And because we're back in South Africa, I want to work in rands, foreign notes. So I'm going to be looking at this line here. Okay. So the fee is 1,85% with a minimum of 70 Rand. So that means no matter what my fee is, if it is less than 70 Rand, I'm going to be charged 70 Rand. There is no maximum. So we can get a huge amount that we have to pay in fees. Right. So now I'm going to find times 1,85%, which means I'm going to multiply that by 1,85 over 100. And what is the answer to that? On your calculators. No. This you would have to. Okay, this converts to 0,0185. Okay, so we had 880 Rand, 05. Thank you, Matthew, for that. And that is 16,280.9, and so on. Okay, so now am I going to add it to the 880 Rand, or am I going to subtract it? Why am I going to subtract? Okay, you have returned from Mozambique and you've got 3,220 meticals. You exchange it for rands and they tell you that you can get 880.05. Right, so I'm going to minus the fee, which was 1628. And so what is the total amount? Okay, 863 Rand 72. Right, we've returned to South Africa, so more than likely it is going to give you, they will give you your change. 72, I'm hoping. Okay, it doesn't always work out. Right, buying a fixed amount. So I am going to America and I want exactly $1,000. So what I'm going to do, first you have to check the exchange rates, okay? If you're not sure, a US dollar, by now you should be more or less sure. Okay, this was a long, long time ago because the rand dollar exchange rate is just under 16 rand to $1. Okay, it's going to cost you 16 rand to $1. Okay, so I want to go and buy. So the first thing I do is I change. I'm going to buy $1,000. How many rands will I have to pay? So my rand value, I'm going to get 8,000. It's going to cost me 8,283 rand 20 to get $1,000. But now we've got to add the fee on. So I'm going to take my rand. You take everything from a South African perspective. I'm going to take my fee, which is 1,85, times it by the amount of rands it's going to cost, and it will be 153.24. Go back to your table and check. The bank is selling to us. So the bank is selling. There is a minimum, I want notes, there's a minimum of 60 rand and there is no maximum. Okay, so I'm going to add 153.24, which was the maximum. And then those $1,000 with the fee will cost me 8,436.44. So in essence, if I leave the country and I get $1,000, I go overseas and I don't spend a cent of that. If I come back, I'm going to get less money, okay? Because the bank buys back at a much reduced price. It's about 50 cents cheaper. So on every rand you're going to, or every dollar you're going to lose a rand. 50 cents, sorry. Right, let's have a look here. So now consider a South African who has exactly 2,500 rand to exchange for travelers' checks, Nigerian Naira. The first thing we do, we work out the fee. Okay, so 1,85 of that is 46. I add it, but there was a minimum fee. Okay, so I've got to take the fee off my rand value. So I subtract here, I subtract the 57.50. I now only have 2,442 rand 50 that I can buy Nigerian Naira. Okay, this is a mistake here. It should be NG. Okay, only full notes are issued and therefore rounded down. The bank is not going to give you rounding up. Sorry for you, but that's how it works.